talk about Emmanuel Sanders, Greg. Seems like a plug and play option here.
Great fit.
Great fit, right? Talk
Yeah.
about that.
Well, great fit because he can run every kind of route. He's really good run after catch. You know, how many times did we see him in San Francisco last year run those slant routes, those short routes, quick rhythm throws, which Drew Brees is a master of. And you put him opposite Thomas, who's really, really good. At some point, I'm going to take a look at Thomas in detail in the next number of weeks, just because I want to get a feel for all the routes he runs. But I think it's a great move. Sanders fits what they do really, really well.
The deep ball for Brees does more often than not seem to fall a little short. What does the tape show?
He loses energy on the back end of deep balls now. That's not his game anymore. Never had a big arm, but those throws he struggles with. But he's so good with the rhythm of the pass game. He's a master at knowing where to go with the ball before the ball is snapped. He eliminates and isolates as well as any quarterback in the league. They really do a good job with their formations and their use of personnel, breaking down defenses. So, again, you're thinking fantasy, and I'll let the other guys talk about how they see that. He may not throw 45 touchdowns, but I don't think Drew Brees will have a significant drop-off.
Scott Barrett, Drew Brees is QB 11 off the board. That there have been times, a couple of times over the last 5 years, that I've been very much into Drew Brees, and it's generally worked out. But I'm not very interested in him here with an ADP around 90. The one thing that we've seen here, if these quarterbacks don't run, boy, their margin for error is significant. And he's got to throw for 300, a couple of touchdowns almost every single week. He's capable of throwing 3-4 every damn week here. But your thoughts on Drew Brees this year for fantasy as QB 11 off the board, ADP around 90?
Yeah, so I think that's right. I struggle with his upside as well, and it's not just his lack of mobility. It's also Taysom Hill's extreme mobility. We've seen since the ascension of Taysom Hill, his fantasy points have really, there's a lack of ceiling there, and particularly because he'll come in and he'll rush for a touchdown. So he's not someone I'm targeting at that ADP.
No doubt. So last year, Alvin Kamara had an ankle injury in week 6, week 7 that he just could not get right from. Again, Pro Football Focus charted Alvin Kamara with forcing the second most missed tackles forced per touch in weeks 1 through 6, but he fell all the way down to 39th after the injury when he came back in week 10. If you look at his per touch efficiency at a missed tackle level, yard level, like it was just really lagging behind when he came back. But before the injury, I mean, he was like not only like was he the Saints bell cow, like Latavius Murray basically didn't play. There were some people out there that were saying, "Oh, Latavius Murray is just as talented as Mark Ingram. He's going to get a Mark Ingram role," and that just never happened because Latavius Murray is not as nearly as good as Mark Ingram was. In weeks 1 through 6, Kamara was like on the field 70% of the time. Like, was their red zone back? Obviously was getting a bunch of volume in the passing game, but he just got really unlucky with touchdowns. He only had 2 touchdowns in weeks 1 through 6. Both came in the Seahawks. I think Kamara is, early in his career, he was a highly efficient touchdown scorer. Last year, that really fell off the face of the earth, probably a little bit because of the injury. I think he's in for a big rebound now that he's healthy. And honestly, John, like I think he's for me, I'm taking him ahead of Dalvin Cook. And I know that might be a hot take, but that's where my head's at right now in May.